Economic conditions continue to worsen as we see continued unemployment claims at a record high, millions laid off that have acknowledged they won't be able to get their old job back, and a cascade of debt, defaults, and bankruptcies. But on the other end of the spectrum, we have unbelievable speculation in equities markets at this time. Never before in history have we seen such exaggerated statistics, but since there are no sirens blaring, people don't know and will never know. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. I've got an absolutely massive video today. There's going to be so many statistics, it's going to make your head spin, so make sure you're sitting down. I want to get into it right away. You may have seen this information coming from different websites, but I wanted to show you it directly from the source to begin this video. It's coming from the World Bank's website. I posted it on my Twitter, Patreon, and so on, but look at this. In the crisis that we are seeing right now in 2020, there will be a disproportionate impact on the poor through job loss, loss of remittances, rising prices, and disruptions in services such as education and healthcare. I want to make something very clear. When you look at what's going on right now with rising prices, maybe that's your food. Well, of course, this has gone up considerably. We have seen the inflation there. There's no doubt about it. Now, there's different reasons for that, but the end result is the same. Food prices have risen. And you look at the salaries that people are getting today. Many of them have had their salary cut, or if we just look at it in general, for a long period of time, they have been flat. They have been flat throughout this period. And when you look at the two of these together, it is not a good thing. The great disparity in between the two, of course, puts a lot of pressure, especially on those in the bottom 50%, because this makes up a larger percentage of their income in general. So of course it's going to hurt them. Of course, if they're without a job for a period of time, or they've had their salary reduced, or their hours are cut, either way, less money in their pocket, they've got to go more into debt. That's the end result of it. And speaking of debt, that is another issue, because today we have seen debt rising on all levels. We're looking at it on the personal, we're looking at it on the government side, that's for sure, and the corporations too. But the interesting part out of all of this is that the corporations are benefiting from this debt. As I mentioned in just the previous video, you look at a company like Apple that has billions and billions and billions of dollars sitting there in cash, just waiting around, and yet they are constantly borrowing. They are getting the money for so cheap, and they're able to use it how they wish. Even though they could be using their cash, they decide to use the debt instead. It's a crazy system, but that's the way it works. So the individual gets crushed by debt, the government can print up as much money as they want, and then the corporations are able to actually profit from it. What a world. Well, the World Bank estimates that 40 million to 60 million people will fall into extreme poverty that's under $1.90 per day in 2020. Very unfortunate statistic that I'm reading here, and that's unfortunately the facts. So I wanted to bring it to you because although it hurts to talk about, this is the situation that we're in, and it's not getting better, it's getting worse. Creditcards.com poll: 1/3 of small businesses are relying on personal funds right now here in 2020. If you pay attention to what's going on in this chart down here, you can see the small business funding sources right now, 2020, PPP loans at the top. That's 29.6%. But look at the stuff underneath it. Personal credit cards, that's 24%. Business savings account, 24%. Personal savings account, 20%. Business credit card, 20%. All in all, this just shows you that these different companies are dipping into different forms of debt or savings in order to pay off their expenses. And what's the situation that we have today? Well, of course, maybe business was moving along, whether it was doing well or whatever the situation was. There has been this incident here, stuff is shut down, you've got problems, right? So there's a period of time in which they are unable to make income. And throughout this period, they are simply waiting. How how long will it be? Should we close down? Should we go bankrupt? Should we lay off our employees? We don't know, because first it's going to be 2 weeks, then it's going to be a month, then it's 3 months and 4 months, and then we're opening and then we're re-shutting down again. Of course, all of these questions remain, and at the end, you don't know what demand will be because it's not going to be on the same trend line it was before. So these people are trying to simply get to a point where, all right, well, if I use this money I have on my credit card in the account, maybe I can get past this bump in the road. But there's so many question marks that it makes it very difficult. That's why there are so many that are going bankrupt. But understand that a lot of people are in this zone right here. They are thinking, if I can only hold off a little while longer, hopefully more people will be there. Hopefully there'll be pent up demand and I can get back on track. I'm actually wanted to look at the statistics if we can ever find any of the people that reopen up. Business isn't there, demand isn't there, and they unfortunately have to close. That's going to be huge as well. So I think this problem is going to extend at least into next year. So many businesses, individuals are being punished right now. Bloomberg is taking data from CoreLogic, which I'll show you the charts directly from CoreLogic in just a second, but they have some good points here. New York, Miami leading America in mortgage delinquencies. If you look around the world, in fact, the major cities are taking a big hit. There are some serious changes that are happening right here. New York, Miami just being a couple of places. Almost 14% of mortgage borrowers in Miami were at least 30 days behind on payments in May. The highest among the 10 largest metropolitan areas, and that was followed by New York at 12%, Las Vegas at 10%, and Houston at 10% as well. Each city, each area, they're all going to be affected differently, but we know that this issue is widespread. The economic decay that was taking place throughout 2018 extended on to 2019, and all it needed was a pin to prick the bubble. With the sudden loss of income, many homeowners are struggling to stay on top of their mortgage loans, resulting in a jump in non-payment. You could see this in many different aspects, but right now, today, it's already showing up. Okay, here we go. On a national level, 7.3% of mortgages were in some stage of delinquency, 30 days or more past due, including those in foreclosure. That is a 3.7% increase in the overall delinquency compared to last year at this time. And I just wanted to make this clear. The report, which is brand new, is using May's data. So this, of course, was a bad time. A lot of closures at this point. So we know that there is probably some sort of recovery, if you want to call it that. Once we get the June numbers, I'll be able to tell you, but I think it's very clear that there are serious problems. Where it came from, in many cases, you look at the GDP, for instance, they tell you a V-shaped recovery. Some argue a dead cat bounce. So I don't know. I'm just bringing you data. You do what you want with the information. National overview of loan performance. This chart directly from CoreLogic. You could see right here 30 plus days, 7.3%. The darker line is May 2020. The lighter line here is May 2019. They make note of this being 2.8% mortgages that were 60 to 89 days past due reached the highest level since 1999. I think that all of these statistics are very important. Just shows us already what's been happening. Even though during the subprime crisis, during the housing crisis, the financial crisis, so much of that took place in 2007 into 2008. A lot of the statistics actually became worse leading from, let's say, 2009 into 2010. So many of these things will take time to unfold. Foreclosure and delinquency rates for select metropolitan areas. You could see the breakdown if you are interested. The second column there just shows you 30 days or more delinquency rate that they were referring to just a moment ago. Change in overall delinquency rate and unemployment share for select states. I just wanted to make it very clear that what we're seeing today has a lot of manipulation based around it because there are eviction moratoriums, forbearance, all different types of schemes that have been put in place that skew this whole thing. All the data is messed up. It's made to look better than it is for more reason than one. So we're going to see what's happening in the future. Eventually, debt needs to be paid back. That's the way it works. If you default on your debt, somebody gets screwed over in the end. Boeing order cancellations outpaced new sales for the 6th straight month as demand continues to fall. This is one company that has been hit very, very hard, but you don't have to worry because the stock will just go up and up and up. Thanks to QE, thanks to high frequency trading, thanks to all the garbage that's out there, thanks to all the free money, thanks to everything. And not to mention the kittens and rainbows who have made it all possible. That's all for this video. If you found it informative, hit that thumbs up button. By clicking one button, you are supporting the creator of this video. Thank you. If you want to learn how to make money online, you want to understand e-commerce, there are many good courses out there for $1,000, $2,000 plus. If you would rather get one for free, I have one, the AmazonGPS.com. If you want to understand the financial system from top to bottom, A to Z, the foundation, the history, the asset classes, making money, everything in between, definitely check out my 2 books. They're in the link in the description if you want the audiobook instead, themoneygps.com. Do you want solutions? Do you want to understand how to do things right here at this time for 2020? I've got a playlist called How To and Solutions. Check it out. I'll see you there.